Hi, and welcome to another episode of My Wellbeing TV with me, Christine Charles, and family friend of broadcasting to us, Dr. Afiniki Akanet. Now, you are a family friend to My Wellbeing TV because you've been on the show so many times, and we just love having you, love your energy. And, last time we spoke, you talked about a new book, and that's what you're here to talk about today. First of
Yeah,
all, let's do the politeness thing, yeah? How are you? How is life?
I'm good, thank you. You're right, it's a politeness thing, isn't it? People just ask, but don't always have the time to hear the answer.
Yeah, because I think you and I are that type of friends where we just dive straight in. But it's good for our viewers to know how you're doing. You wear many hats for those who are watching for the first time. You are a doctor, you are a mother, you are a wife, you are an entrepreneur. I don't know how you fit all of that in, but you do, and amazing stuff. So,
Good.
and this isn't your first book, is it?
No, it's my seventh actually.
So tell us a bit more about your books and we'll move into power and praise in a moment. So you've obviously got the gift of writing. Where's that come from?
I think it's just an outlet, really, because I'm a firm believer in not letting your talents and your gifts die with you, not letting your wisdom and your knowledge go with you. So that's just my outlet of sharing the information. And, I'm blessed to be able to do it through my work as a doctor, giving advice to patients, sharing people's life experiences with them, and talking them through issues. But writing, I believe, helps me to reach a wider audience, people that I would probably never ever meet, but people that can gain from the knowledge that I've um, gained over the years, and also just putting it in a more concise way, because I have been known to ramble a lot when I try and explain something. So I love that writing gives me a chance to write something clearly, edit it, think about it, put it together in an easy to understand way, which is a lot of the feedback I've been getting. People quite like the way that I write in a simple way that's easy for people to understand. So yeah, I don't think that I'm an amazing writer. I just think that it's because I'm passionate about sharing the information and inspiring others with what little I've learned over the years. So really, I think it's little because I only just turned 40 in May, and I do have a lot of friends who are much older than me, and I'm aware that there's a lot more life that happens after 40 by God's
Mhm.
grace if we get to live long, as much as all of us want to do that. So for me, it is little knowledge that I'm sharing because I trust God that there'll be much more to share with more experience over the years. But yeah, Power and Praise was just a book that I felt was an opportunity to share the things I'd learned over the 40 years, and how looking after my spiritual health helps me to look after my mental health. So that's kind of how I got into writing this one.
And we love rambling. There's nothing wrong with rambling. And what I love is Nikki. I can call you Nikki because we're friends. Um, Nikki, we met about 8, 9 years ago on Radio Plus Coventry community
Yeah.
radio station on the Health and Wellbeing show, which I was hosting at the time. And
Mhm.
back then, I think it was Life Without Coffee. That
Yes.
was your book, and we talked about,
Yeah.
and I read it. And what really inspired me was that you don't have a writing degree. You're not a journalist. You're not a broadcaster. Not that you
Mhm.
need any of those elements, but sometimes the word world does tell you that. You write from the heart, and
Mhm.
you're not waiting for a pot of money or a publisher to come to you. You go and do what you do with your talents and gifts, and then off
Mhm.
you go. And I love that go get up attitude that you have. And I love the way you write as well. You are right. It's very simple. It speaks straight to the heart. And there's always at least a handful of nuggets that you release. And we've even talked about spiritual health, haven't we, in previous interviews? And we've talked about the importance of how we speak,
Mhm.
because life is in tongue. Life and death are in the power of the tongue, which is scripture.
Yeah.
And you seem to do that so beautifully through your writing and expressing. And I've heard you speak as well. So communication is obviously one of your gifts and skill set. And we were talking on text, weren't we, about power and praise and what that does to your well-being. And
Mhm.
but before we go into that, I want to, where did the inspiration come, Nikki, for this book? Like, was it over while you were washing dirty dishes, um, going to bed, or was it like, aha, light bulb moment? What was the moment, the light bulb moment for you?
Well, it's interesting because I haven't done my hair today, which is why I've got the headgear. But I was actually washing my hair in the shower and got this idea to write a book about power and praise because I was just reflecting. This was probably just after Christmas, so probably early in the year, just reflecting on how, oh, I'm going to be 40 soon. What would I like? Everybody keeps asking about, are you going to throw a big party? What are you going to do for your birthday? It's a big one. And, I am into birthdays and celebrations. I do love celebrating. I'm always doing something for my children, for my husband. But for me, I really did not want a big party for my birthday. And at that moment, just sort of washing my hair and stuff, the idea just came to me that actually what I really, really want is to release a book for my birthday and release a book that actually shares the real me, the power behind everything.
Yeah.
Because people often say, oh, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you get motivated to do these things. It's winter, people can't be bothered to get out of bed. You're going to work and waking up early to write a book as well, and I just thought, it's not some deep secret or something that is just exclusive to me.
Mm,
It's really a lot to do with the choices I made from early on in my life that have made me the person that I am today. And I share all that in the book Power and Praise. And the reason why it's called Power and Praise is because it just boiled down to those two things. When I thought about what are the two things that really keep me going, I believe it's that power of God in me because I'm a Christian. I share that openly. And I believe that power of God manifests itself through peace and joy. When I'm at peace, there's nothing I can't face. If there's a situation where I don't have peace in that situation, and it would just seem
mm,
overwhelming. But when I have the peace of God in a situation, it could be the toughest time, but I would still be going on. I would even still come out of it better than when I started. I share stories from my university days when I had lots of challenges. I share financial challenges, marital challenges. I share lots of examples in the book, personal stories that I feel like I haven't really shared in some other books because I was trying to keep it very um, professional, medical, mental health focused. But with this one, this is really something from me
yeah.
for my birthday to share with people to help them if it's an area where they're thinking, I'm having no energy. To be
Mm,
honest, if I had a pound for every woman that tells me I have no energy, I'm always tired, I'd be a billionaire. But just finding those little secrets that turn your life around. That's why I put the subtitle as Navigating Life from a Higher Perspective. So we're not working in our own strength, we're not working in our own power. And it's not just me, there are millions of people around the world that are doing this.
yeah.
And some people actually know the theory of these things, but the practicality is really hard for people to put into their lives. So Power and Praise helps people to see how to put it practically into your lives. Um, praise itself is also something that I'm learning and I'm working through. So it's not like I've attained and I'm so perfect with all this and I'm always having a perfect day. But this is the secret. And as long as I stay on this path, I'm very excited for the future. Praise, I do talk about praise from different angles. So praise as in being praised for what you've done. So because sometimes even that praise getting to your head can be the downfall of people. Praise as in you being able to give praise. Some people, jealousy will not let them say what they really think. There are people that really admire you from a distance and they love what you do, but because they're so jealous, they can't even give you a compliment. And you just think, you not giving the compliment isn't making you any better. So just talking about praise from all different angles, but also, of course, the obvious one, which is praise to God, which is the
Yeah.
one that a lot of Christians will think about. I spend all my time in worship and praise. If I'm driving, if I'm first thing in the morning, I put on my music, singing in the shower, singing wherever I am. Even when the music is off, I'm humming it because I always say the music is in me, so you can't get rid of it. So I'm always praising Jesus, and I find I feel more strengthened by
Yeah.
living that kind of lifestyle. It's not just a Sunday, lifestyle. It's a everyday lifestyle of giving praise to God for everything He's done for me, for my life, and praising Him even for the things that I haven't seen yet, because that's part of faith. I'm choosing to praise rather than grumble, and that's where the power comes from.
You know, Nikki, you obviously, to me, have a growth mindset. Yeah. And you apply that every day. You're anchoring yourself, not just in hope, but faith. And I love what you said about that you're kind of looking, you're praising for the future. And we're living in very turbulent times. There's a lot of change going on in nations, in lives, you know, in relationships. It all has a knock-on effect. Um, Give us a couple of tips from the book, or actually give us one, because we don't want to spoil it for the readers, of
Okay.
how people can navigate their way through such big change and small change, doesn't matter, through power and praise.
Okay. So I've got the book right in front of me. I haven't thought of an answer in advance for one specific tip because there's just so much.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, you'll find in the book. But I've just looked through and this one just popped at me, roll with the changes. So this is on page 36 of the book, roll with the changes. So people sometimes think that it's the saying is roll with the punches, but I say roll with the changes because that's the only constant. People, there'll always be change. You know, even as a country, the UK, we've just had a change in government, we've had an election and a change in government. There's a lot of change anticipated for the healthcare sector where I work, even in the educational sector, finances, cost of living. So people are really just sitting on the edges of their seats thinking what's happening. In fact, you know, I was just reading on the news how banks are adjusting interest rates and people are waiting to find out Bank of England interest rates before they move, whether to move or not to move. So making plans around other changes that are out of their control. But there's always a choice. We could either be sitting with fear, thinking, oh my goodness, you know, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Things are just getting worse. Or decide, you know what, change is constant.
Yeah.
It is going to
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be tough and I'm going to go with it and I'm going to make the best of the situation. This week, I read a quote by Maya Angelou, which said, um, I I cannot stop the changes. Something about I won't stop the things happening from changing me, but I refuse to allow them to reduce me.
Wow.
So the changes can affect you in that you will be changed because you know these things affect us and we have to change plan, we have to change tactic, we have to change even the way we are. I always say if you can't change what's happening, change your perspective of it. So you know, you meet people in their 80s who when they were younger they were kind of go-getter, go and do things, but because of certain things that have happened in their lives they've turned into something totally different. But in all that, it's okay to change. It's okay to change, but don't let it reduce you. That is the thing. Because if that change is making you less than you are or less than you were made to be, not living the abundant life you were created to have, then that's sad. So it might not be the things I was hoping to achieve this year if things hadn't changed. But then if things change and then I have to change plan, I shouldn't make it be that I've now reduced my expectations of myself or make see myself less than I am. No, I'm still a glorious daughter of the Most High God, whatever happens. And this is not because I'm a doctor, it's not because I'm married, it's not because I have children, it's not because I live in England. It's nothing to do with that. It's that identity in knowing that I am loved, I am blessed, and that doesn't change no matter what happens. So it's that finding your identity and rolling with the changes, knowing that even if all these things change, one thing doesn't change who I am. And that's kind of the thing I share in the book, just looking at life from a higher perspective, not just what we see, but the things that are unseen, which are eternal.
I love that. Amen. Amen. I love there's so much around identity at the moment. And you know, that's probably a conversation for another time and maybe another book for you in the future around identity and actually who are we and are we allowing the conditions of what's happening to affect our identity? And are we motivated by love or fear is something that a friend said to me recently, which made me think a bit differently. Um, Nikki, I know this is a whistle-stop tour because you've got a very busy day and you were able to squeeze me in. So thank you very much. And of course, we look forward to having you back on the show. Some final words of wisdom. What could you give us?
I'm just gonna say, hold on to your peace. That's where the power is. So whatever it is we're facing, there's a lot coming on with the end of the year coming, with Christmas and everything. But hold on to your peace, because when we lose the peace, that's when we lose the power. That's when we start losing direction. But hold on to your peace. Stay calm. Hold on to your mental health. Hold on to good spiritual health. Hold on to your peace.
Thank you. Dr. Afiniki Akanet, you have joined us today. Just give us a quick link to your where people can buy your book.
Okay, so Power and Praise is available on Amazon and everywhere books are sold. It's also available from my website, afiniki.co.uk, which is just my first name. And you can find my podcast there as well.
Lift up your book for us, Nikki. There you go. Thank you for joining us, and you're going to be back on the show, I've got a feeling, in the future. You've been listening to Dr. Afiniki Akanet.
Thank you, Christine.